Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Gabe with Indigo Software, genuine Microsoft software for less. So in today's video, we're covering a tutorial on how to replace the main C drive of your computer without having to reinstall Windows and without losing any information whatsoever. Now, before we get into that, if you're interested in your own copy of Windows 10, Windows 11, or other Microsoft software at a great price, check out Indigo Software. We'll have links in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get started. So we actually got this video topic idea from a customer of ours who was trying to install Windows 11, but didn't have enough storage space and wanted to know how to replace the drive in his computer without losing information. Now, if that sounds like you, we'll have links in the description box below on a step-by-step installation guide for Windows 11, as well as how to do an in-place upgrade. And those are videos that you could watch after completing this. Now, as far as what you're going to need, it depends whether you're on a laptop or a desktop computer. If you're on a laptop, you're gonna need your new drive along with a SATA to USB adapter. This is gonna allow you to simultaneously connect the new drive with the old one still installed. If you're on a desktop computer, you're simply just gonna use the SATA ports on the inside. And the only other thing that you're really gonna need is a screwdriver, in this case a Phillips head for the casing of this laptop, or some sort of tool to get to your hard drive. So the first thing that we're gonna do is install a software that's gonna help us do the disk partitioning. More specifically, we're going to migrate the operating system, which is going to move it all to the new hard drive while we're externally connected. And then we're gonna finish the video with the replacement. So I'm gonna put the camera in front of the computer so that you guys can see what I'm doing over here. All right, so we're gonna start by downloading a program called Mini Tool Partition Wizard. And this is a free third-party software that's going to easily enable us to make this migration with the drives. So I'll go to my web browser here, and I'm just gonna type in Mini Tool Partition Wizard. We're gonna click the first link here. We'll also have this link down in the description for you guys, but we're simply just gonna click download, and we're gonna click on free edition. Okay, so we've got the exe. I'm gonna click open file, and we'll minimize the browser. Here we'll just press yes, and then it's asking me for language. Keep that as English. And in order to utilize the migrate operating system and copy operating system features, we're just gonna run the free trial for the Pro edition. So I'll select that right here and we'll press next. Here again, I'll press next. Leave that where it is. And it's gonna download that for us. And then here I'm gonna click finish and it's just gonna launch it because I have that selected. And this is what the program looks like upon launch. Now, for the purpose of demonstration, I have this external hard drive right here, but in your case, you're going to use a SATA adapter plugged in to this drive, and then you're gonna plug that to USB directly to your laptop. Again, if you're on a desktop computer, you don't have to worry about that step. At this point, go ahead and make sure that your drive is connected to your computer. You can see here we have disk 1 and disk 2. Usually disk 1 is your drive C, your currently installed main hard drive. And once you make sure that your drive is being read by the software, we're gonna use the option Migrate OS to SSD/HD Wizard. So I'll go ahead and click that. And then here we have two options. We can replace the system disk with another hard disk, or option B is move my operating system to another hard disk and keep the original hard disk in my computer. So option B is gonna be if you just want the OS without any of your data. Option A is what we're gonna use, which is gonna include all of the data and it's gonna make that migration for us. So with that selected, we're gonna press next. And then just make sure that you have the correct disk selected here. In my case, it's the Seagate. Again, it's the external drive, but this is gonna be your new hard drive or SSD. So select that and press next. And then we get a warning message telling us the data on this disk will be destroyed. Now you don't have to worry about this if it's a new drive. If it's an old drive, make sure you have a copy of that data because it's gonna get completely erased during this process. So I'm gonna select yes. Now here we have some option to make partitions. If you wanna do that, you can mess around with that on this page. Option 1 here is fit partitions to the entire disk, which is probably what you're gonna want in most cases. So we're gonna leave that and we're gonna press next. Now here we're getting another notice. It's telling us to remember to change BIOS mode to UEFI or UEFI. We're gonna go over what this means in just a little bit. So I'll press OK. And then right here, I'm gonna press finish. And the last thing left to do here is to press apply. So we can see the operation is pending here. We can look at all the information. And if everything looks good, go ahead and hit apply. And it's recommending us to close all other applications. So we'll go ahead and do that. File Explorer and Edge in this case. And the last step here is to press yes. Now at this point, we're good to let the operating system migration do its thing and run. In some cases, you're gonna get an error message that reads operations copy partition cannot be completed because C drive is being used now. So if you see that, don't be alarmed. You're simply gonna click on restart now, and then we should be good to go from this point forward. Now, this process is gonna take a while depending on the amount of data that you're copying, especially if you're using the SATA adapter. If you're using a native SATA port on your computer, it should be a little bit faster, and it also depends on the speed and performance of your new drive. All right, so once Partition Wizard has brought you back to your home screen, it's finished the process of copying over the drive. Again, if you have that error message, you just have to press restart now, and it's gonna continue the operation. And the only thing that we have to do from this point is make the physical hard drive swap. So before we proceed with that, we're gonna cover a few things that are important to these next steps. So if you remember, we had a message telling us to enter BIOS settings and make sure we make the appropriate changes. If you're just replacing your drive with a new hard drive or an SSD, nothing needs to be changed in the BIOS settings. So that's only gonna apply to you if you're adding an additional hard drive to run your operating system from. So in some cases, you might wanna run your OS from an SSD and keep your hard drive to store your files. You can get some performance benefits out of this. And this is a case where you would have to go into your BIOS settings and configure this to set it up. But we're not gonna cover that here because again, we don't have to touch it for a simple hard drive replacement. Now, the second thing to be mindful of is activation issues. So your copy of your Windows license is actually attached to your computer and your computer firmware. So again, if you're doing a hard drive swap, you're not gonna have any issues with this. Your Windows license will remain activated and it will continue to work. The warning here is that if you copy it to a different hard drive and go try to run that in a different computer, you might run into a suspended license problem, or they could even suspend the license on your original computer. So we just wanted to mention that before we actually do this hard drive swap, in case you didn't already know. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we're gonna go ahead and shut down the computer. And once your computer is shut down, I'm gonna unplug the power supply. And now we're gonna locate that hard drive compartment. On this computer, we have several different screws to remove this back plate. So I'm just gonna unscrew all of those, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now, you wanna be careful if you have a computer with a back plate like this. We're gonna be careful when separating this edge as to not dent or scratch anything. So I'm gonna grab a plastic flat edge and see if I can start to pry this open. All right, so on this computer, I'm just using a guitar pick here, and there's little plastic connectors in there. And I'm just trying to gently pop them up, as you can hear. So we're just going along the edge. And at this point, I should be able to gently remove this backing. Just try to be really gentle in this process. You know, you don't want to break anything. All right, so it took a little bit of time, but here we have the backing plate removed. So we're just gonna set this aside. And this is what we see here on the back of this computer. I'm actually not replacing the hard drive in this computer, but I'll walk you guys through the steps as if you were replacing your hard drive. Okay, so this computer already has an NVMe SSD. You can see that the hard drive slot here is empty. I'm gonna try to get this on camera here. If this is your laptop, this is the SATA connector, okay? So this is gonna get plugged into your hard drive. Your hard drive is gonna lay in here. And then once you plug the hard drive in, you just secure it, and we're gonna replace the back plate. So again, SATA connector, secure the drive because you don't want it rattling around. This can fit an HDD or an SSD here. Now, whether it's a hard disk or an SSD can change the way that you secure it in the bracket. I don't have anything to show you guys this, but it's pretty straightforward. It's usually just a few screws to secure it down into this plate. And once everything is connected and secured, we're good to go ahead and replace the back plate. So I'm gonna do that now, and I'm gonna go ahead and boot back up the computer. All right, so I replaced the backing plate and I've booted up the computer. And at this point, you should be able to sign into your computer and it will be exactly as it was running from your new hard drive. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video. If you guys found it helpful, we'd really appreciate a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Of course, if you have any questions, drop that in the comment section below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, if you did this to upgrade your version of Windows, check out those video links in the description box below for tutorials on how to install Windows 11 or how to do an in-place upgrade within Windows 11. Now, again, if you want to purchase your own copy of Windows 10 or Windows 11 at an amazing price, check out Indigo Software. You can also find all sorts of Microsoft software there, and we'll put those links in the description box below. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next video.